sitaako n'akonekitanga bintu yagiwuliriza njola yagitegula kati butegusi wangambye tuli musufu mukiri kositirane kusifu yani zibigitegula bintu byagiwuliriza njola katonda wange lino lugenda lutereera lino lugenda luddawo
Yes, we back again today. How are you guys doing? Yes, it's me again. I'm just back now to continue where we stopped, and it's been some week. Yeah. We're still discussing about my life journey from where it all began. Yes, born and raised in Kampala, Uganda. I've been into more of working mainly for the last how many years? For the past like 10 to 15 years, I think I've been in the computer business. Yeah, 10 to 15 years. I think that's the only job I ever done like professionally. So that's the only job that I ever got paid to do, and I've been moving with it. And there are so many opportunities out there, but I've never tried to put my mind to something else, because ever since I loved using computers, I've been doing computer work for more than 15 years now, and I would like to explore more about these new happening technologies, the new computers. I would like to explore more because technology is not going back. It's just continuing. I always felt comfortable doing what I love, and I was employed for more than 6 years. But during that process of being employed, I started off when I was young. And you know, when you start off when you're young and you're employed, your mind is not all about money. It's all about impressing the boss and showing them that you are the fit for the job. So that's how my journey was. I was employed like on a salary for more than 6 years. And that was only when the COVID pandemic hit. Because if it wasn't COVID, I think I would be still employed. But you know, when you are, there's a way how the salary, this salary amount, there's a way it gets the best of your brain. You know, the salary money comes in a whole package, and you're always happy when it comes. I know so many people are on a salary strategy, but what I know ever since I started being self-employed is that the salary amount is just given to you as a drug to keep you in the same place for some time. That's what I learned about the salary. Because I know it comes in a big amount, and you But when it comes, it always has plans for it. You can't just receive your salary and it will just be for spending. The salary comes with a lot of expenses. So the difference between being employed and self-employed is that when you are self-employed, you can know when to get money and not to get, and you can always know when the day is not good. That's the only difference. You can always deal with all challenges when the money is there and when the money is not there, so you can always tell. But when you are employed, you can't think of that. For you, what you're expecting is the boss giving you your money, signing the checks and everything. But when you're self-employed, there are a lot of challenges that you have to learn. There goes a day when you don't even work. But you still have hope that tomorrow will be a brighter day. And that's how my journey has been. I was employed for 6 years. I recall those 6 years because that's when I started getting paid, like on a monthly basis. So it was a good run on the first few years until when the money got reduced for the years to come. They started reducing my salary, and as time goes on, you start getting responsibilities, different responsibilities. There are so many things that you need to own for yourself. But remember, you didn't have the love for these things before. But as the year goes on, you feel like you need to buy yourself some stuff, laptops, phones, clothes. And so sometimes your money, the salary, may not be able to fit all of that. So that's how the problem comes in case you are on a salary payment. But if you are self-employed, you can always know that today is a good day and tomorrow will be a better day. But for the case of the salary, it keeps you in one place for a long time. You always have to wait for your boss to pay. You have to run on your boss rules and everything. So that's where the problem comes. So I know starting up is a bit difficult, but you have to try. You have to try. I'll be explaining to you on how I started off being a self-employed person. I'll go into that in the next video. So I guess I'll be back. That was for today. See you. In my country, internet cafe countries were doing a lot back then, like 10 years ago. But nowadays, I'm not sure, because people can access everything that we used to go for on the internet cafe. They can access it on their phones. That's the funny thing nowadays. Businesses are switching from where we knew them. So these people had computers in their homes and PlayStation. They used to play games, and I was so curious to know how these things are done. Back then I had no knowledge about computers, but I loved computers. So I'm telling you about my journey and how I became to get to know my computer works and everything, how I became interested in starting my computer journey. This is how I started. So I was like, okay, these will be my friends from now on onwards. So they became my friends. But the most important thing that led me to them was because they were talking about computers, what. So I wanted to know if what these guys are saying is true. Do they really have computers in their home? So I was in the boarding section and I couldn't move out. So every time I was sent back home for tuition, school fees, I was like, where am I going to go right now? My home is far away in Kampala, and I was studying in Chotela. Chotela, that is now a district. Yeah, back then it was, I think, linked to Masaka. But now Masaka is a district and Chotela is now a fully district on its own. So from Chotela district to Kampala, it was a distance. So I couldn't come back home. So I stayed there every time they sent me for tuition or school fees. So when they sent me back for school fees, I couldn't come home because it was a distance. So I decided to be like, I have friends. Now I have friends. I think I should try out these friends of mine. I should maybe go and visit them to their homes. But I didn't visit their homes because I was looking for comfort or like a shelter. No. I was curious to see these computers they were talking about and the games they used to play on them. So that's how my journey started. I started visiting one friend of mine. He was called Muzaffaru. I remember he was called Kayemba Muzaffaru. Yeah. So this friend of mine, they had a home and he was a good friend of mine. We haven't been in touch for a while and I will try to look for him. But I came to know this guy from my school because he was 3 classes ahead of me. You know, I always made friends, but the friends I made, they were like 3 classes above me because they were talking about gadgets and stuff that I wanted. So I wanted to know how this works. So with time, I went to their home. He introduced me to his family, mom, his friends, his siblings. So I got a chilling place besides school. In case they send me for tuition, I didn't mind about sending me out. I just went to their home. When I reached there, I started they introduced me to this, how the computer works. 2009, my story for computer lab starts in 2009. So, well, I was excited about this. So, he showed me how to use this computer and games and opening it and everything. Mind you, I had some little knowledge about computers in my primary school because back then computers were just being introduced in schools. That was 2008, and in my library, in my primary school, we had a computer lab. But back then, these computers were only for the illiterates, those who knew how to use them. They were not for anybody. Like computers were not even taught. Computers were for when you met computers in school, they were for the headmaster, they were for the bursar, and they were for the librarian. Those are the only people who had computers in the school back then. So let me take you back. Let me rewind back to my primary life before this secondary life. So I used to go to library in primary, and these computers were covered up with some cloth because dust was a lot. So every time we went to library to study these books, it was like reading hours. So I could sneak into the other computer room. I tried to remove this cloth. I switch on the computer, and there was a game. I think it was called Pinball. Pinball is a Microsoft application that comes within the working or the operating system. So it's a game, but it comes with the operating system. Back then, the operating system I'm talking about, it was either Windows XP, Service Pack 2. You guys, I don't know if you have heard of it. I don't know. You guys have just grown on this. You have grown on this generation of this new operating system, like the Windows 11, the Windows 10. But I'm still talking about my era, and that was way back. We used to use Windows XP from Microsoft. I think that was among the later versions of Microsoft because they had Windows 98. And then in the 2000s they switched. They went to Windows XP. And in XP they made different versions like Service Pack 1, 2, 3. That they made Dark Edition. Microsoft has also come a long way. You guys are just getting to know all of this. But well, we used that was Windows XP. Yeah, Windows XP. So I used to sneak and go in the library and play that pinball. I was so happy. You know, like, there are skills that you learn by yourselves and you don't need to be taught by anyone. So every time you learn this skill by yourself, you feel empowered. You feel like, how did I crack this code? Did I just do this? Did I just win this without asking anybody's knowledge? So every time you feel like you have done something by your own self, by your self-exposure, you experience that moment by yourself and you are like, did I just do this? That's how I was. So taking it back to Second Life, I started learning computers by myself and it was a great journey. So 4 years down, I'm done with Form 4. I've been in the same place for 4 years in a boarding section. I didn't even come back home within those 4 years. I was stuck there. But to me it was cool because besides school life, I had also started discovering my passion for using computers. And so that was my friend. So that friend of mine is the one who connected me to this other computer guy that I told you about, that I won't disclose the name right now, but in future I'll disclose the name. So this friend also had another friend in the central part of the town. So he introduced me to him. So this guy his job was to fix phones and repair phones back then. The phone thing was also all coming up. People fixing phones, software and hardware. So it was just coming up. So he introduced me to him. So in the case I didn't go, when they sent me back home for tuition, if I didn't go to my friend's home, I could go to this other guy's workplace in the center. So I could go and sit to his place, like sit on a bench until the day ends, like until late. So I could be seated there watching how there was a guy who was also working there. There was also a computer, so I could just sit and watch them using a computer, and I could just learn everything they did just by watching. I didn't ask them to teach me, but I just watched. So my mind kept on getting this information every now and then. That's how I started learning computers. I started from there. And my problem was like, okay, it wasn't a problem, but I wasn't like looking for a place to live, but I was just looking for a place where I can hold a computer. That was the funny thing. I couldn't eat, I could starve, but in case the computer was around there, and if you had just let me use your computer, that would be the best thing that I ever received back then. So that's how my journey started, and it was a very, very long journey. Yeah, I'll take you back. Maybe I have skipped a lot of things before. I've just went back. I've just started from the school life, but I'll always be taking you back to my earlier life when I was born, where I was born from, then my career life, the jobs, and challenges and skills I've achieved. There's so many things I've learned, relationships. I'll be taking you through, guys, a lot of things. So, yeah. Thanks for today, and we shall continue from here. Bye. Adios. See you. Yeah, hello, it's me again. How are you? How are you? How are you? Yes, it's been some time now. I've been trying to do some work and I've been somehow busy. Yeah, it has been some tough time, but now I'm here. I just want to continue from where we stopped, I was still telling you about a little bit of myself and my life, where it all began. Yes, it has been some time now. So, I've been sitting down, trying to reminisce the memories, think about my past and everything that happened in the past, and I've been trying to connect to my past, trying to reconnect and to think from where God has brought me from, far from. Now, taking you a little bit of some time back, and that was like some 10 years ago. That was the time maybe when I had finished O-level, and I couldn't come back home just because I didn't have the dues, the fees, the tuition. So I always had a place I could go and stay. Meanwhile, as I waited for the day to end, as I could go back to class, I could go back to school when the teachers have just went away. So I used this time during the hours, I used this time to learn a lot of things. Like, I just had to be out of school so that I could maybe learn some other new things. So I used that time to learn so many computer things and getting to know the environment, because I was new in the area and I had to catch up. Like, I had to cope up with the environment, the new people, and the new things, because I didn't know no one from the side, and it was really difficult for me. But as time went on, I tried to cope up. So it was that time of the year, way back in high school, when they used to send us to go for school fees or the tuition. And to me, it was an opportunity, because when I went outside of the school, I had to go to my friend's place so that I could learn some new things from him. So this friend of mine had like computer at his workshop. Oh my God, I loved computers. Even me looking at it, I was like, wow, I needed one by myself. And I couldn't think of, like, I couldn't wait of having a computer of my own. I loved computers. I don't know where this passion came from, but like just seeing someone merely touching it, I felt like I'm the one touching it, because computers are my life. Like, just having one was a dream. And back then, computers were not that much, and anyone to be having one, it was something real big for those 10 years ago. But now computers are everywhere. You can access computers everywhere. You can use computers everywhere. But back then, 10 years ago, computers were scarce. Yeah. Just big corporate companies used to have computers, schools, those government offices, they used to have computers. You could also find computers in cafes. That's only where you could access computers from. And back then, people didn't use the internet that much, just like nowadays. Everyone is using the internet. Everyone is using social media. Everyone is hooked on social media. Like, you can't sleep unless you have checked the social media. You can't do anything before checking social media. You wake up on social media. So that's the trend. So everyone is following it. You can't like reverse technology. Technology has been evolving. It's just not only today, but for the past 50 years, technology has been evolving. Yeah. So now, being sent from school, I used that advantage to go out of school and meet my friend who was in town. And actually, we were not so close, but as time went on, we started being close. He knew me, and he understood my story and where I started from and everything. He started to trust me, and he started even giving me his keys for the workshop. No one knew where I was back home. At home, they thought I was in school. Like, they didn't even expect me to be out of school. Never, never, never. They thought maybe I was at school, but like when you have a passion for something, there's a way it always follows you. You can't hide it. Like, it always shows up. If you have like a talent in you, there's always the way it shows up, like without your conscience, like it just comes out. So I realized I had a passion for computer and gadgets, so I had to go for that. It wasn't in my mind, but it was just something that I wanted to be using. Every time I wanted to be using computers. So now I started learning, but no one taught me how to use computers, and I was just merely being seated there watching someone using it, and I could get everything in my head. Just merely being seated on a bench, because I just had to wait there for the whole day so that the day ends and I could go back to the dormitory. Because I couldn't go back during the day because the teachers were still around. So I had to wait until the day closes at night so that I could go back. I sneaked back. Like our hostel was somewhere near some trees, so I could sneak back to the hostel because the teachers were not there. So my friends were in preps, like night classes, and I could just go to the dormitory. I wait for them to come back in the dormitory because I had spent the whole day in some town there. Because I knew there were computers in town, and I could be there the whole day just seeing people using a computer. That was my passion, just seeing them. Because I didn't have the permission to use the computer, so I had to sit and wait, watch them do their magic on computers. But in my mind, I was recognizing everything. Like, this passion, I don't know. But as time went on, I started to put into practice what I was seeing. Everything that they were doing, I could be able to do it by myself. Because as days went on, these people who used to use that computer, they seem to have other things to be done, and they left the place. So it turns out no one was in the place. So this is where the opportunity came in, because I was already seated on the bench. So when this guy, these employees had left, no one was there. And I was like, okay. That's where my chances started to be like, my opportunities opened up. So I was like, maybe I should go and sit there. And I started practicing what I was seeing these guys were doing. So I started. That's how I started. Let me tell you something. Most of the things in the world, they don't need money. Like, you don't need money. You don't need money. Like, every time that everything needs money to be like worked upon. I used to work not to get paid. I don't know if you're getting me right. I used to work not to get paid, but I used to work just because I wanted some place to be. That was enough for me. It wasn't all about money back then. It was just all about me being given an opportunity to use a computer free of charge. No charge, just sitting there, touching a computer, placing it. That was enough for me. You couldn't even give me food. You couldn't even pay me. But this time I used it just because I was so passionate about using a computer in my life. So when I was given that opportunity, I used it. I didn't expect no money coming, no lunch, just touching the computer. That was enough for me. And it gave me an opportunity to open up my mind about computer, and I taught myself everything. No one taught me how to use a computer. No one. But I just looked at it. Then I got that opportunity that when these guys left, I started using it, and I became good at it. I even got more extra hours, like at night. This guy trusted me. He started leaving me with the keys. Now, this is what I did. When the holidays break, like when we went into holidays, I didn't even bother coming back home because I knew I got my favorite spot in town. So I could just go to that spot of mine. So I tell the guy, now we are in holidays, so I'll be coming here more often. You'll be seeing me a lot. So this is me now. I wasn't even thinking about getting paid. I just wanted to be there, just next to a computer. And it turns out this guy trusted me. I started even, actually, I countless days I slept in the business, like, because I used all that time, night time, daytime, just to teach myself how to use this computer. I was so green, like, at first, but as time went on, I learned a lot, and I taught myself everything. No one came to my rescue to teach me that you need to do this, you need to do this. I taught myself everything because I was so eager to know what this machine does. So I had to go into deep to be online, learn how to use the internet, everything, and I became so passionate about it, you know. And now that's when the trend of social media started coming out. Some of you, okay, you know, like way back then, the internet was limited to a few because not everybody could access the internet, you know. And as I was online, I was always discovering some new things that were coming up. Now, Facebook started in 2004. Facebook officially started in 2004. That was in some years back, like 24 years ago. I joined Facebook in 2012. Yeah, can you imagine? Can you believe that? I joined because I was so eager to know every new thing that is coming up on the internet. Because I used most of my time to discover new things. So everything that came up, I was always updated about it. So that was 2012 I joined Facebook. I still have that same account to date. Yeah. But back then I used to have passion for the social media and what. I joined WhatsApp when it came, like when it was so, I think that was 2014. 2014. That's when WhatsApp came. So I also joined it. So what I do, when I discover there's a new social media that has been launched, at least I'm among those first few people that will join it first before it becomes a trend, it goes viral. I make sure I'm among those people because I like exploring new things. That has been my routine, like every day. So it has been my passion, and I went on to learn a lot of things, teaching myself so many things. I've been doing a lot of things that I taught myself. I've done DJing. I'm a DJ, but that was back then. I used to be some good DJ, but I taught this myself. Most of the times I was alone. I've been alone, so I used that also chance to learn new things because I didn't have a lot of friends back then. It was me and me by myself. So I learned new things. I learned DJing, then I learned video editing also, and every time I discovered something new, I always felt good about myself because I knew this is going to stick into my head because I've taught it myself. And now I have the opportunity. I'm not paying for rent, I'm not paying for electricity, I'm not paying to use the computer. Everything is free of charge. So I use that opportunity to learn a lot. So that was 2013, 2012, then 2013. I continued learning. Actually, I started even getting some money, because now I'd learned a lot. So this guy always started to get for me something to eat. At first, I didn't work for money. Remember, I told you that I didn't work for money at first. But I just wanted to be in somewhere, not just being idle. I wanted to be in some place where I can be so that I could learn the computer. So once I got that place, and this guy interested me, as time went on, he started even inviting me to his place. We started watching movies at home, and I became like family, at first I was some person that he didn't know. He trusted me, and I started going to his place, we watched movies. I became family, So, that was 2013. I learned the computer. So I came back home after a long time because I had spent 4 years in that place. I went to study. So when I finished schooling, I remained there for some period of time. So I came back to home after some long period of time. And now at home, I came back home, but I wasn't that person who would stay seated at home doing nothing, because where I was before, I was used to being on the computer all the time. Now I came back home, I have no computer. I've left all the computer back there where I was. So I was kind of bored and I couldn't stay home. I couldn't just stay home. And this, they knew at home that I was so much into computer. They knew. So I was maybe I should go and start looking for a job. Since now I've come back home, so let me go out and start looking for a job. I went out and I started looking for a job because I wasn't that person who likes to sit down. Yeah, because I wanted to go on to explore this potential, the knowledge I've learned from back there. So I wanted to bring it back home. So I started looking for a job. Luckily enough, I got some job. It wasn't that paying, but as I told you, everything is not all about money. Once you are looking for something to do, first focus to you have to love what you are going to do there before focusing on getting money. But I know nowadays things switched up. People front money more than passion and everything. But back then you needed to have passion. You needed to want to do something before earning money. That was it. Back then, things have just switched a little bit nowadays. So, the first job I got when I came back home, it wasn't that paying, but I was good with it. And I used to travel from home up to that job. It was some distance, but I used to travel. I used to walk on foot because I had passion. And this passion could take me to places. I could just move. I couldn't even mind. I could just walk on my feet just because I wanted to work. So this guy turned out, I worked there for some 3 months. He didn't pay me because he had promised me the monthly fee, and he didn't give me the fee. So I was good with it. So I told me, in exchange, you could give me a computer. Just remember, I wanted the computer. I've been wanting this computer since I was back there, but I didn't get it. So when I came back here, I was so confident to look for a job because I had gained some experience. So when I came here, I didn't have to go for interviews. I came confidently looking for a computer job because I had learned something. Actually, I came with my CDs, like there were some software CDs that I had prepared from back then. So this guy, he gave me my first computer. This is the first computer I've ever bought in my life. I was super excited, so excited. And well, the computer had some faults, but I was cool with it. He gave me the computer. He didn't manage to give me my salary. So I left the place because he wasn't paying. So I took the computer back home. Wow. That was a dream because I had wanted this computer for some good time. So I took the computer home. I set it, and I started using it home. So that was some years ago. And now, 2014, my parents were like, let's take him to a computer school, what. So they took me to a computer school, 2014. I started schooling there. I went to, basically, because they saw the passion, they saw the passion of computer in me, so they decided to take me there. It turns out everything they told there, just a few things I knew, like everything they were teaching. Just some little lecture they added in, like some subject they added into my computer lectures, but I knew everything they were teaching. Actually, I had even softwares that the kids that I was studying with, they didn't have it. That was 2014. I think I have a clip back in 2014 and some photos I'll be sharing with you, some of the memories. So, in case these kids that I was studying with needed something, I could sell them and I could get. That's how I started earning some money from school. Like back then, I used to sell them softwares. So the teacher had tried to teach something that day, and it was about Windows operating system. Everything was new to them, but me, I was already living that kind of life. So it was much far easy for me. It was just a 1 year study semester. Yeah, it had like 2 semesters, and it was for 1 year. And it was a certificate. I finished it. I did a certificate in computer science, and I finished it. So after that, I went on to exploring more, like working and studying. I went on to explore more about computers. So so many things happened, Yeah, but I finished that certificate, and I also started working, trying to fix up some things, and that has been life, Things in life, they take time. Sometimes some people, they are blessed. Everything is it comes on a silver plate for them. But some of us, we have been hustling our way through, and we have been sticking to what we know how to do much better. That's how we have been. We have been pushing, and God has been on our sides. God has been on my side, and He has been helping me mysteriously. He has been working upon me in things, so many things that I don't even know. Me, I just see things happening for me. I just see that now I know how to do this, and it sticks in my head, doesn't go away. No one teaches me that, it just sticks in my head. So I thank God for that. He has been I think God has been on my side for some time. All the time, not even some. Because my story is quite long. We could stay here for hours and hours. Yeah. So that's all for today, and I'll try to be bringing up so many things, like reminiscing about the old memories, so many things. I'll be sharing about my photos, the old photos, the memories. I think I still have some few memories that I kept, so I'll be showing you some memories, and so hopefully I'll be sharing with you. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for today, and bye. Adios. Yes, how are you? What's up, people? Yeah, I'm back with the next episode of this, and I just want to continue from where I stopped last time. I was still trying to take you through my life journeys for the past 10 years, and more than 10 years actually. You know, sometimes in life you have to meet people, like you are going to meet people like every day and every time. But what matters the most? What's the importance of these people that you meet every year, every day? And I want to hit you with a little bit of motivation today. People you meet sometimes on the road, sometimes it's fate, but sometimes you don't meet people by accident. Some people are meant to, like, take you to another step in life, but not everyone you meet is supposed to take you to the next level of your life. Some people are not a match. What should I say? They are not your match, like you don't match the energy. So these people can't take you as far as others can. But when you meet new people in your life, there are some people that will give you that whole vibe to upgrade yourself physically, financially, mentally, and they will make you feel that you fit in the public. They will make you work more. They will give you the inspiration to work. So people you meet, try to get people that can people you can match energy with, people that they can vibe, they can give you their whole upgrade vibe so that you can level up. Yeah, so you will meet different types of people, but the only thing you have to look for from these people that you meet is the vibe to level you up. Because if you meet people who are always talking about partying, partying, always spending time doing things that don't level you up, I think it's high time you choose another circle to vibe with. So that's a little bit of motivation for today, and I hope you got something. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be here every day. I'll see you next video. Yeah, so it has been some time. I was employed actually, but in this business that I'm doing, actually I thank God I didn't struggle looking for a job, not really. But nowadays getting a job is also part of a job. Like getting a job is a whole job itself. So many qualifications, so many things are needed nowadays. But back then, all you needed to have is passion. I know even today, passion still leads, because you need passion so that you can do the work. But as I told you in the previous videos, that I remember I used to work not because I wanted to get paid, but I used to work because my interest was just using the computer. That was my passion and interest. So this passion pushed me to learn a lot of things that no one ever got time to teach me. And so it helped me upgrade my brain and learn new things and a lot of things that I'm doing right now. So I was employed like for more than 5 years. That was 6 years. In the same job that I taught myself to do, that is also the job that I got employed to. I will hit you with a little bit of motivation so that you can learn. Before you start being self-employed, unless maybe if you are born from a rich family or you have somewhere you can get the capital from for starting a business, but if you don't have those ways of getting that money, all you can think about is getting employed. Because when you work under someone, these people will guide you, but not everybody will guide you. Some bosses don't guide, but at least if you get a chance with a good boss, they will always guide you, and you will also earn a monthly salary. That wasn't my case, because for my case, I taught myself the work that I was doing, and the payment was there. It wasn't much, but I didn't focus on the pay. All I focused was to build connections with these new people that always came to the shop. I learned on how to deal with them, to handle them with their problems, to troubleshoot their issues. I shared the knowledge I did research by myself to the community for years. So this helped me to, first of all, it helped me to upgrade my communication skills, because I was very bad at communicating, I was like, it was difficult for me to look someone in the eyes, that direct contact. It was difficult for me. But as the years went on, I had to find the confidence to look in somebody's eyes, because these people, when you don't look straight in the eyes, they seem you are not serious. They seem you are joking. So these people will take you as somebody who's not serious. So in everything that you do, to maintain the respect for the customers, you have to maintain the eye contact with these people. That was my problem, but as years went on, I had to learn to improve myself by making a direct eye contact with the client. Because if you work on somebody and when they are going to pay you, they ask you for the money, how much have you worked for? And then you're looking down, they will seem like you're not serious. So I realized that I didn't need anything from these people, but apart from them paying me after doing the work they asked for. So I had to maintain that. It was very difficult to maintain the good posture and the direct eye contact, Sometimes we have issues with our own selves. It depends on how you have been brought up since when you're young. Sometimes it affects us because of our background and where we're coming from. So I learned a lot of things. I learned on how to handle customers. I learned on how to deal with everyone that comes my way, because I realized that I needed to share my experience. I couldn't just sit down with all this knowledge that I learned from different places. I had to share it with so many customers than people. It helped me learn more and continue learning more every day and every day and every day. So when I was working, I got into this passion of DJing, and actually it didn't just start when I was employed. It was even there. I don't know why this skill has been with me for years. I like DJing, and I'm a big fan of music. I like hip hop music, the old school type. And I don't know how I came to love music, but like everyone has his hobbies and passion. But I think my hobby and passion, that would be music. Then the movies will come next. But I love music. I don't know how I came to understand music. Like, I even know songs that are older than me, like 3 times older than me. I just know music. So I fell in love in music for the past 15 years, like, of me understanding the music. And I've been listening. I used to be a music fan, although nowadays I just reduced on listening to it because I got some other responsibilities, so they take much of my time. But I used to be a music lover. So I also, when I was working, I also started DJing. I did mixtapes. I've done mixtapes for more than 10 years. Can you imagine? But I will get into that DJing thing because it has also been a journey. My journey has had so many things, leave alone the computer thing. I've also done DJing, but I was these underground DJs, anonymous. So like when you do some stuff for the public, and they come and they say, wow, this DJ is good, but they are not sure that they are talking to the DJ who did that mixtape. So I'm that kind of DJ. I'm not these showbiz DJs, the showcase DJs, the party DJs, the club DJs. I'm just someone who had passion at learning to do something, then I did it. So I've been like that, but I just want to continue giving the world sharing my ideas and my skills, because after all, so many people need the skills and they need to learn. So many people need motivation, but they don't know where to get the motivation from. And we have been doing this, I have been doing this, and I know everyone can do this as long as you have passion. Passion has led me to so many things that I think money can be there, but when you don't have passion, I don't think you can do so many things. I've done so many things with passion without money. Yes, I've done so many things with passion, but not expecting a lot of money coming to me after like a payroll salary. I've done a lot. I've taught myself a lot without investing even in a coin. I was employed just because I wanted my bosses to know that I'm the match for the job, but not because of the salary they were going to pay me. So I have always fronted passion more than anything, and I hope you get something out of this video. I just want to keep on motivating people anytime I can, and with time, you never know who out there it might help. So I think that's all for today. I want you to subscribe to my channel because I'm planning on so many things, but even the knowledge is needed. People have to know my story. We don't just come out of the blue and you see us rising and doing some stuff. We have been there cooking, Yeah. Basically, I would like to upload my mixtapes on YouTube. I had some issues in the past with YouTube, and I'm learning on how to deal with my copyright stuff, So I'll be uploading my mixtapes, and people will have a chance to see my experience, and maybe, I'll do that. But for now, I hope you got something from the video. Just wanted to motivate you. I wish you the best and keep on subscribing. I'll see you next time. Yes, how are you guys? What's up? What's popping? Yeah, I'm back again. My name is DJ Evioplomics. You can call me Eviomatic. I'm the CEO of KIMXP Computer Services and Eviomatic DJs Academy at large. I started off with passion, as I've been telling you from my previous videos, and I've done most of the things with passion, and so many people have tried to meet. It has been just because of the line of my business, but not because I knew them. The line of business led me to these new people in my life for the past years. So every time I met these people, I had to give them the best of me, like experience-wise and my work-wise, So because these people have continued to connect me to new other people, they have continued to connect me to so many new people, like I never knew that I would meet. In just my job position, I've been able to meet new people, and we have shared a lot of memories with them. I thank God it's not the same way the whole thing started up, because starting up was difficult for me, but God was always by my side, and you can't know when the right time God is going to make you feel like you have waited for that long, and He will give you everything, not everything, but at least you will appreciate what He has helped you go through. So I've tried to make friends throughout the years, but these friends, they came based on my works. I didn't just find friends anywhere. But these friends, we became friends just because I gave them a service, and from that service we started to be friends, So it's been some years and counting, and we are still friends with these people. And I've really learned a lot, I've learned a lot. Because I wasn't that much of a people person, I used to be soaked up in my job and work, and nothing seemed to make sense to me, because I thought maybe the only way out was to work, and I didn't have so much time of being out in clubs, partying and doing a lot of stuff. I just needed to be at home, tomorrow going to work, then coming back, something. That was the life I used to live. So with the years went on, I had to go on learning some new things and so many things, So, this is where I am now, and I'm just trying to give up some motivation, and I hope it can help you or anyone else that needs to know that, you have to stick on. You don't have to give up. You have to keep on working, You have to keep on rebranding yourself. You have to keep on learning new skills. You don't have to be there and you think everything will just fall on the plate, You have to go out there and learn a new skill. If you know you are good at something, go out and do it. Don't just sit there and wait for. We are living in a very evolving world, everything is moving in a blink of an eye, and everything is moving at a faster speed. So you either take that what you know and turn it into something big, You never know what tomorrow holds. You never know what tomorrow holds. So you have to be sure that you move on with your passion. When you go to school, they teach you a lot, but I think you need more practical skills than the theory skills, because out here in the field, out here in the world, we are using practical skills. We rely on the theory, what the teacher teaches and everything, but mainly you have to have the practical knowledge. You need to have the practical ways of going out, facing the world. When you are in school, the world is different. When you come out of school and you face the world, the life is also different. So you have to balance the two. When you come out of school, you have to learn how to deal with the world, and you have to blend in the world. You have to follow the rules outside school. It's always difficult, but you have to be locked in, and you have to be willing to be able to meet, a lot of challenges. Looking for a job is also a job. When you get that job, there's some competition. So many things, so many things. So you have to be ready to be willing to deal with any hardship and difficulty that comes. You don't have just to give up. You have to go on with your passion. You have to front your passion, and you don't have, I know you like money, but money won't come if you don't have passion. You need to have passion in what you're doing so that money will always come. If you have passion, you have to follow that passion. I will be speaking about passion a lot because nothing makes sense without passion. Yes, I know some people don't know much, don't rely so much about passion, but I know if you have passion, you can do anything that you want to do. The reason why I talk about passion is just because I'll take myself as an example, because I've dealt with passion in everything that I do. And if I don't give you passion, that means I have no interest working for you. But if I come like all myself, I have to give in all myself, and I have to show you that I'm the fit for the job. So basically that's all for today, and I hope you also learned something from this video. Keep on subscribing. A lot of work is coming. I'll see you in the next video, and for now, bye. I've always wanted to do something like this, but the only problem I faced was doubting myself. I have doubted myself for so many years. I've doubted myself, and then I realized that I've been doubting myself. I always did something, but after doing it, I felt like it wasn't that good for the people to see. So I self-doubted myself so many times. But I realized that I was doubting myself. So I decided to slowly trying to learn on how I can handle every situation. Because when you're always doubting yourself, you can't seem to do good for yourself. So I had to build the confidence within me so that I knew that I could face everyone and I could go back on the track to do what I'm supposed to be doing. So I had to build that confidence within me so that I can stand strong and I can stand straight, so that I can follow my hobbies and I can bring out the best of me within. But self-doubting is bad, and it can make you miss a lot of chances. You may be having so many talents within you, but you are afraid to act upon your talents. You need to bring out that demon, that inner demon within you, that inner beast for success. You need to bring that inner beast of success within you. You need to work upon those bad thoughts that you have in your head that you can't do something. You need to chase them away, and you need to work upon your confidence. You have a lot to do, but every time you're stuck in your head, you feel you'll be embarrassed after doing something nice, feel like the world will not appreciate it. No one cares, people don't care. You're just afraid of criticism, but people don't care. Just have to stand on your feet and do what you feel is right. That's what I've learned, and I couldn't be here speaking to you, but just because I would have started this for so many years ago, but I was always afraid that people would judge me, and but I felt like I had the confidence to do this. That's why I started doing it, and I hope you can be motivated to do something little, even though it's little. You can start off with anything that you have, and I know one day you'll be proud of yourself, and you make people, those who didn't believe in you, be proud in you one day. Yes, don't stop believing. Keep on believing in yourself, and keep on dreaming big, like doing bigger things. I know you got this. I hope you learned something from today. Wish you the best. See you in the next video. I'm out. When you go to school, they teach you a lot, but I think you need more practical skills than the theory skills, because out here in the field, out here in the world, we are using practical skills. We rely on the theory, what the teacher teaches and everything, but mainly you have to have the practical knowledge. You need to have the practical ways of going out, facing the world. When you are in school, the world is different. When you come out of school and you face the world, the life is also different. So you have to balance the two. When you come out of school, you have to learn how to deal with the world, and you have to blend in the world. You have to follow the rules outside school. So it's difficult, but you have to be locked in. And when you go to school, they teach you a lot, but I think you need more practical skills than the theory skills, because out here in the field, out here in the world, we are using practical skills. We rely on the theory, what the teacher teaches and everything, but mainly you have to have the practical knowledge. You need to have the practical ways of going out, facing the world. When you are in school, the world is different. When you come out of school and you face the world, the life is also different. So you have to balance the two. When you come out of school, you have to learn how to deal with the world, and you have to blend in the world. You have to follow the rules outside school. So it's difficult, but you have to be locked in. And yo, what up people? So boy, MrEviomatic. Yeah, just here home. I want to take you through my journey. I want to discuss with you about how my journey has been for the past years. Just here chilling at home. Just try. Today I've been here, and I was passing through my old Instagram posts, and I came across a video that was shot in 2014, and it was posted on my Instagram account by me and my friends, and wow, time flies, because it's been almost 10 to some years now. Because if I had to count from 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, it's been 10 years since this video was taken. and I'm not sure whether I can still recall where these friends of mine are. But that was 2014, and I was at school. I was at an institute. It's called Uganda Royal Technical Institute. Yeah. Back then, times were totally different. The world was cool. I know, even though the struggles were also there, but it was a different time back then. And actually, these guys had a tablet. I think it was a MacBook. Yeah, it was an Apple MacBook. Yeah. So we were coming from school, and we were off from lectures. I decided to take some walk down to the Kabaka's Wreck, as you have seen, and we were just chilling, The video has just made me reminisce the memories that we had. It's been some time now, 10 years since that video was shot, and when I look back, it has been a long way, my friends. It has been really a long way. It's a long story, but to cut the story short, I know God has his own reasons as to why every person has their different way of living. We have totally different lives, and throughout these podcasts, I will be explaining a lot for my journey, to inspire a few to understand those core values of life. Meanwhile, so many things I can tell to my young self that I've been experiencing, that I've been seeing, but I know with time I'll be explaining. A lot has been happening throughout the years, and I just said maybe I should share it with some people out there. Maybe it could be of help. Yeah, my podcast is starting. Actually, it had already started, but I had paused it, just been up and down. But now I want to focus on this, so that maybe, you never know, someone out there might need it. Yeah. So this podcast is going to be live on my YouTube, and with time I'll be sharing it on different medias. I know people nowadays use TikTok a lot, and yeah, I'll try to. Meanwhile, the website will be also coming up with time, and I just want to share my life experience, and maybe someone out there might learn. There are so many stories that we can't share. Like, there are so many hidden parts of us that we don't feel like we need to share, but you never know, sharing it might help someone out there. Life is not straight, and you don't have to feel bad, and you don't have to feel so weird. You don't have to feel low. You don't have to feel small. Life. Just have to keep on pushing. You have to keep on. You don't have to give up. So the reasons as to why I do this is just because it keeps on motivating me to do what I can and what God has blessed me to do. We all have unique talents, and I know you do have all the talents that you have that I don't know, but you just find yourself having knowledge on doing different things at a time. But so for my case, it has been a whole years, like almost a decade now, with a lot of getting to know things, understanding things, and it's crazy. But with time, I'll be trying to explain to you step by step. You understand? Yeah, I think now is the right time. I have a lot in the store for you guys, and I hope you'll be getting something out of it. Yep. So I'll have to post these things on my social handles, and I'll be sharing the name of the podcast in my next video. The name of the podcast and my social handles, I think I'll be sharing them all at once. So I hope you guys can learn something from it. It's a life experience, and I hope you get something out of it. See you on the next video. Bye bye. Yes, so as I was saying, life is not always in a straight line like the way you want things to be. You can't just wake up like when everything is just coming on a silver plate, like on a silver platter. Like, it can't be like, you can't just be at some magic place and everything is just falling in place. Like, there's a saying that goes like, money doesn't grow on trees. I don't know if you can understand the concept of that saying. It's just because you have to give in all. You have to put in your mind. You have to be so willing to put in all your energy to get what you want. I know it's always difficult for you to do something you feel like you want to achieve, like to accomplish. It gets hard. But what I can share with you is that nothing comes easy when it's all about getting to success. That means you will have to put in more of your understanding and brain. I know there are so many external factors that may be pulling you away from your dream. That's life. You can't fight them. That's life. But you have to keep on pushing so that you can confront these demons, I know it's hard, given the times we are living in. Everything is upside down, and everything has to be on social media. Everything has to be compromised. Like, if you don't post your success on the media, it will be like you're not making fun or stuff. Now, like, the times we're living in, everything got to be compromised. Like, but what I know, even the true success still exists and true hard work still exists. When you focus and put your mind on something, it can happen. That's what I think, according to my knowledge. But I know it's hard. Like, by the times back then when we used to work, our main focus was to be our main focus back then was to be placed by our bosses. It wasn't all about money, leave alone this era right now. It wasn't all about money. It was passion. It was passion when we were starting up, hustle. The hustle. When we started working, it was all about passion, and so that we can impress our bosses, so that they can praise us, without even expecting any payment. So time have changed. The times have been changing since then. and here we are now. It's hard. It's hard to. They can't like focus so much on one particular job, like the passion isn't focused on like years before, because people had passion back then to everything they decided to put their hands on. But nowadays it's not all about passion, it's all about money. Well, even back then it was all about money, but at least passion came first. Because with passion and willing to do something, money will always come. But you need to still have the passion within you, because if you don't have passion, nothing can move, It is hard. It is really hard. We are living in a world nowadays where so many things are needed by a person. There are even so many taxes and charges that are growing each and every day, leave alone the taxes that were there back then in the day. We are living in a world where it's a need to have internet charges. If you take it back like 10 years ago, when the internet wasn't so much, we didn't have taxes for the internet, and we didn't have to have a need that I'll need this amount for the internet. Like sometimes it's the trend, and it's something that we have to know to start to live by, because it is not going back, it is just coming up. I'm talking about the internet. And what you need to use the internet, because it's a trend and it's not going back. But I know you have to use it in a meaningful way, that maybe so that you can get something out of your taxes and the internet costs. At the end of the day, there's so much fun on the internet, but how have you utilized this fun and the important message on the internet? Because everything is there on the internet. The internet is a database. Everything you want is there. Whether it helps you do some work, whether it's for fun, everything is there. But now we have some things that we don't see, that they are consuming most of our time, money, thoughts, and there's no way we can deal with them, because it's a trend. So we have to live by the trend. So my advice would be that we can't turn off our phones, because we need to know, we need to see what's going on around the world, because that's the way we are living by now. You can be anywhere and you can get to know what's going on in another part of the country when you're just seated with your phone. What I'm trying to say is that so many things, as we are trying to focus on our goals, there are so many things that are pulling us. So many distractions are pulling us on focusing on what we want to be and on our goals, and there is no way we can avoid these distractions or obstructions or what. But at least you can balance the two, and you can at least manage. Don't let this other obstruction be something that is pulling you away from your dreams. It is fun, you need to live with it, but at least try to balance it with your goal. I hope you learned something from that. I'll be seeing you in the next video, and I think I haven't I'll be telling you the name of the podcast and we shall talk about so many things, just some things that could add a value to someone out there that might need it. I'll see you in another video, and for now, bye. So today's motivation is all about passion, willingness, being vigilant, accepting everything as it is, trying to give something a try. Giving something a try is better than not trying. Willing to take risks and being able to confront everything that seems weird to you. That's the only way that you can do something out of yourself. We had passion when we were starting up. Our love wasn't about money. It was about willingness and having that love for something. And things I'm talking about are like 10 years ago now. And when actually nowadays when I'm seeing some people in my years back then, it's totally different from what we were doing. Life back then was different, and we just had passion. So I know passion doesn't stop. Passion continues. When you have passion for something, you can always make something good out of it, despite what the people may be talking about it, how it is, whatever. But you can always make yourself something that you have passion about. So no matter how small what you're doing is, don't give up. Just keep on pushing. That little something that you're doing will be something big next the coming years to come, or in the few months to come. So as long as you have passion, you can always do anything. I know it is always difficult to start up something with financial factors, investments, but I know God helps those who are willing to do something. And if you are willing to do something with all your heart and all yourself, God sees you and is always willing to accompany you to anything that you're willing to do. But you can't see how he helps you do that. God works in mysterious ways. You can always ask God for anything that you want, but you have to put in all your energy so that with due course of work, God is seeing you struggling and hustling. Don't give up. Keep on pushing. And one day, the things you prayed for and asked for, they will arrive at the right place. When you don't have to sweat, to struggle. Like nowadays, you have to look for a job. From one job to another, And each job place you go to, they have qualifications that they demand. They need qualifications. Sometimes you don't even have these qualifications. But they tell you need this job, you need to have this, you need to have this, you need to have this, you need to have this. Back then, when we used to look for jobs, they didn't even ask for any document, And it was a different time back then. And because we had passion, we worked because we wanted something out of it. From this passion that we have grown within and with something that we have learned, We wanted to express it to other people. We wanted to share it with other people so that they can understand that we are good at what we do. So that's how we used to do jobs back then. And it was much easier because someone entrusted you with all his or her property, materials, equipments, and what you all needed was just to sit there and start doing the work, and it was much easier back then. But given in the times we are living in right now, currently things are changing, everything is changing, so you need to have qualifications for the work, you need to submit your resume, you need to have qualifications, so many things. And besides qualifications, you also need to organize yourself upright. Nowadays, to my understanding, I'll give it to you like this. Some people, they need your documents and your qualifications so that they can give you a particular job. But besides your qualifications and documents, don't ever forget about your attitude and how you react, because that's also some big factor that can let you get a big job. Sometimes knowing how to handle yourself and controlling your attitude and being a good listener, sometimes there are some lucky people who don't even need documents to get a job. Sometimes the way you put up yourself, the way you dress, the way you respond to questions that are asked to you, the way you handle yourself, your attitude, the way you present yourself to people, the way you handle customers, I think that can lead you to getting some big position. And sometimes some people are not looking at your documents, whatever you studied. Some people, they just need you as a person. How do you behave? What are your characters? What is your attitude? And once you pass that, I think some people, those who are giving out jobs, then I don't think every company is the same as the other. I don't think these job agencies or these people who give out vacancies are all the same. I know they are different. So it depends on what each company wants, but don't ever forget to keep your attitude low. People have seen a lot of people with different attitudes, So you won't be the first one to come with a funny attitude, you understand? So you need to learn to know how you can fix your attitude. Attitude disqualifies so many people. So many people are disqualified just because of their attitude. You need to understand and learn how to deal with your attitude. You need to be smart, as in your thinking. You need to first listen before answering to a question. Don't panic when answering some questions you are asked. If you don't know a question, give it time. So, I'm not a coach about how you should. I'm not a coach about how you need to how to teach you on how you need to get a job or something, but I'm here as in sharing my personal experience on how you can achieve some job or something to work. Yeah. So I hope you learned something today. Yeah. I'll see you next time. Hi. How is everyone doing? Well, today I want to share with you about my story, my life, from where it all began. Life has been, I don't know how to bring this up, but life has been moving in its own way. So many challenges, a lot has been happening throughout the years. And these challenges, they have made me strong. They have made me to go out there and continue hustling, because the hustle never stops. A brief introduction. My name's Abdul Hakim Chiwewa, a Ugandan, born here. My city is Kampala, and I'm a computer technical support specialist. I do computer maintenance, computer repair. Yes. Well, life has been like that. Trying to hustle day by day to see the brighter day. I've been trying, but things have been a bit challenging. Trying to move from one job to another, being employed. You face a lot, But every time you feel like giving up, God has another prepared place or position for you. So don't always feel like giving up because you are still employed. You feel like things are not coming your way. You have a lot of budgets, you have a lot of plans. You make your own plans, but God has His own plans for you. So sometimes you have to chill and relax. If it is time to be, if the time is for you, it will always be for you, and it won't be for anybody else. I started working when I was in high school. It's not that because I wanted to start off when I was so young. I understood my situation and where I come from, the needs that I needed. So I had to start working early. Before 18 years, I knew I was already a man of myself. Before 18, I was still in secondary school. Yeah. I was trying. I studied, and I reached to some point, and I had to chill school because, sometimes there are so many things that we need, but we can't get them. But if God helps you and you take a step in school and study some course, study something, you have to always be appreciative and thank God from where He has brought you up to the point you are right now. So many things that I've been wanting to do in life, but when you don't have the requirements, sometimes you end up doing nothing. And I was still telling you about my high school life, or secondary life. That was also the most challenging life that I ever experienced. I was far from home, so I had to deal with everything that came along. Secondary school was so tiresome. But I thank God that I made it through secondary school life. So many challenges that people nowadays, I don't know if they also go through the same, but for my time it was a very difficult place where I had to watch other students, friends of mine, making sure they don't miss any class. But I had to move out of class because of tuition, and they had to send me back home. I couldn't come back to home because it was a far away journey. I couldn't even afford the dues for transport coming back home in case I was sent back home for tuition. As I told you, we make plans, but God always has plans for us. And my journey from whether there were so many difficulties, whether there were so many challenges, I managed to make it through secondary school, and it was so challenging. You know, being sent in a new environment that you have never lived before, and then your home is far from that environment. You just have to call home to see if things are good way back home. In case things are not good way back home, you just have to chill somewhere around town as you wait for the night hours. Because I was in a boarding section, so I couldn't go back home, it was far away. And so I had to wait till late because I couldn't go back during day hours because the teachers were always waiting for someone who comes back without the tuition, and they would send you again back home. So when I called my dad and things were not okay way back home, I had to chill somewhere in some spot of some friends of mine in the town where I was schooling from. I've been having this passion of using computers ever since I went to secondary school. Things I'm talking about, they are more than 10 years now. I remember joining secondary school, that was way back 2009. Some of you were so young. 2009, in the new environment. I don't know the place where I am, but that's where they placed me for my secondary school life. And I started off secondary school, that was in 2009. It took me to 4 years up to 2012. But those 4 years, they were so much of experience. Like, I experienced a lot in those years. Because I was in the new environment, my home is far. They chased me for tuition every now and then. But, you know, it was the most challenging time. So I had to go out and chill in case they send me for tuition or dues. So there was this friend of mine. I know in everybody's life there is that person in everyone's life that has been there for them in all the dark times and happy times, dark times, troubling times, when that one person has been standing by you. So I had my friend, and I think I'll disclose the name with time, but I didn't know this friend, and I was introduced to him through another friend of mine. But because I was new in the place. I was new in the environment. So, but I had friends at school, and funny fact is that the friends I had in high school, in secondary school, they were not my classmates. They were not my classmates, but my life, I've had friends that are older than me, or those who are far much doing better than me. And my clues to this relationship, or to this getting these friends with me, it was because they discussed about technology, gadgets, and that was my thing. So every time I had someone speaking over a gadget or and a technology stuff, I was so like, my mind was so attached to that. So the way we became friends was so simple. It's just because they discussed about computers, and I loved computers so much. So I'm trying to give you a hint about my life, where it all began. Maybe it could inspire you, whoever who is watching this story. So today is the first day, and I've started it today. So still telling you about my life. I was still telling you about these friends of mine. Well, way back in school, I met these friends, and they were like 3 classes ahead of me. I was in Form 1 and they were in Form 4. Here in our country, that is Senior 4, and I was in Senior 1. But in Senior 1, I had friends of Senior 4. Not because they were like much class better than me, but because they were, I friended them because they were always discussing about technology, computers, PlayStation. They told me they had computers in their home. I was like, what? You guys have computers in your home? To me, it was a miracle, because back then computers were scarce. Not like nowadays. You guys have a lot of computers. Even your phones are computers. But way back in one decade ago, that's like 10 years ago, computers, everyone who had the computer in their home, they were like the rich, like. But nowadays people can access computers everywhere, laptops. But in my era, back then, things were tough. You guys are having a lot of computers nowadays. So I was like, you guys have computers? Really? And back then, to access a computer or to use a computer, you had to go to an internet cafe. Those were the people with computers that we knew back then. And in my country, internet cafe countries were doing a lot back then, like 10 years ago. But nowadays, I'm not sure, because people can access everything that we used to go for on the internet cafe. They can access it on their phones. That's the funny thing nowadays. Businesses are switching from where we knew them. So these people had computers in their homes and PlayStation. They used to play games, and I was so curious to know how these things are done. Back then I had no knowledge about computers, but I loved computers. So I'm telling you about my journey and how I became to get to know my computer works and everything, how I became interested in starting my computer journey. This is how I started. So I was like, okay, these will be my friends from now on onwards. So they became my friends. But the most important thing that led me to them was because they were talking about computers. What. So I wanted to know if what these guys are saying is true. Do they really have computers in their home? So I was in the boarding section and I couldn't move out. So every time I was sent back home for tuition, school fees, I was like, where am I going to go right now? My home is far away in Kampala, and I was studying in Chotela. Chotela, that is now a district Yeah, back then it was, I think, linked to Masaka. But now Masaka is a district and Chotela is now a fully district on its own. So from Chotela district to Kampala, it was a distance. So I couldn't come back home. So I stayed there every time they sent me for tuition or school fees. So when they sent me back for school fees, I couldn't come home because it was a distance. So I decided to be like, I have friends. Now I have friends. I think I should try out these friends of mine. I should maybe go and visit them to their homes. But I didn't visit their homes because I was looking for comfort or like a shelter. No. I was curious to see these computers they were talking about and the games they used to play on them. So that's how my journey started. I started visiting one friend of mine. He was called Muzaffaru. I remember he was called Kayemba Muzaffaru. Yeah. So this friend of mine, they had a home and he was a good friend of mine. We haven't been in touch for a while and I will try to look for him. But I came to know this guy from my school because he was 3 classes ahead of me. You know, I always made friends, but the friends I made, they were like 3 classes above me because they were talking about gadgets and stuff that I wanted. So I wanted to know how this works. So with time, I went to their home. He introduced me to his family, mom, his friends, his siblings. So I'd got a chilling place besides school. In case they send me for tuition, I didn't mind about sending me out. I just went to their home. When I reached there, I started they introduced me to this, how the computer works. 2009, my story for computer lab starts in 2009. So, I was excited about this. So he showed me how to use this computer and games and opening it and everything. Mind you, I had some little knowledge about computers in my primary school because back then computers were just being introduced in schools. That was 2008, and in my library, in my primary school, we had a computer lab. But back then, these computers were only for the illiterates, those who knew how to use them. They were not for anybody. Like, computers were not even taught. Computers were for, when you met computers in school, they were for the headmaster, they were for the bursar, and they were for the librarian. Those are the only people who had computers in the school back then. So let me take you back. Let me rewind back to my primary life before this secondary life. So I used to go to library in primary, and these computers were covered up with some cloth because dust was a lot. So every time we went to library to study these books, it was like reading hours. So I could sneak into the other computer room. I tried to remove this cloth. I switch on the computer, and there was a game. I think it was called Pinball. Pinball is a Microsoft application that comes within the working or the operating system. So it's a game, but it comes with the operating system. Back then, the operating system I'm talking about, it was either Windows XP, Service Pack 2. You guys, I don't know if you have heard of it. I don't know. You guys have just grown on this. You have grown on this generation of this new operating system, like the Windows 11, the Windows 10. But I'm still talking about my era, and that was way back. We used to use Windows XP from Microsoft. I think that was among the later versions of Microsoft because they had Windows 98. And then in the 2000s they switched. They went to Windows XP, and in XP they made different versions like Service Pack 1, 2, 3, that they made dark edition. Microsoft has also come a long way. You guys are just getting to know all of this, but well, we used that was Windows XP. Yeah, Windows XP. So I used to sneak and go in the library and play that pinball. I was so happy. You know, like, there are skills that you learn by yourselves and you don't need to be taught by anyone. So every time you learn this skill by yourself, you feel empowered. You feel like, how did I crack this code? Did I just do this? Did I just win this without asking anybody's knowledge? So every time you feel like you have done something by your own self, by your self-exposure, you experience that moment by yourself and you are like, did I just do this? That's how I was. So taking you back to Second Life, I started learning computers by myself and it was a great journey. So 4 years down, done with Form 4. I've been in the same place for 4 years in a boarding section. I didn't even come back home within those 4 years. I was stuck there. But to me it was cool because besides school life, I had also started discovering my passion for using computers. And so that was my friend. So that friend of mine is the one who connected me to this other computer guy that I told you about, that I won't disclose the name right now, but in future I'll disclose the name. So this friend also had another friend in the central part of the town, so he introduced me to him. So this guy his job was to fix phones and repair phones. Back then the phone thing was also all coming up, people fixing phones, software and hardware, so it was just coming up. So he introduced me to him. So in case I didn't go, when they sent me back home for tuition, if I didn't go to my friend's home, I could go to this other guy's workplace in the center. So I could go and sit to his place, like sit on a bench until the day ends, like until late. So I could be seated there watching how there was a guy who was also working there. There was also a computer, so I could just sit and watch them using a computer, and I could just learn everything they did just by watching. I didn't ask them to teach me, but I just watched. So my mind kept on getting this information every now and then. That's how I started learning computers. I started from there. And my problem was like, okay, it wasn't a problem, but I wasn't like looking for a place to live, but I was just looking for a place where I can hold a computer. That was the funny thing. I couldn't eat. I could starve, but in case the computer was around there, and if you had just let me use your computer, that would be the best thing that I ever received back then. So that's how my journey started, and it was a very, very long journey. Yeah, I'll take you back. Maybe I've skipped a lot of things before. I've just went back. I've just started from the school life, but I'll always be taking you back to my earlier life when I was born, where I was born from, then my career life, the jobs and challenges and skills I've achieved. There's so many things I've learned, relationships. I'll be taking you through, guys, a lot of things. So yeah, thanks for today, and we shall continue from here. Bye, adios, see you.